Is it possible to earn more money while working less? If you told me that 2 years ago, I would have completely dismissed, clicked away, and ran far away from this video. But unfortunately, being busy is just a form of laziness. I used to grind 12 hours a day in my photography business. I was earning like $4,000 a month profit. I paid $4,000 just alone in studio rent, and then plus another few $1,000s in studio expenses, photography expenses, contractors, you name it. So most of my profit was just going back into the business, and really it wasn't all that fulfilling because I was still trading my time for money. I was shooting for clients every day and then editing on my days off. I was overworked, and I realized I built myself a prison rather than a freedom business or freelance freedom business that I wanted. And even though it was a lifelong dream of mine to be a full-time photographer, it really wasn't the lifestyle that I wanted to be living. And during that phase, I thought working more and just building a bigger business was going to result in more money or more freedom. But the reality is it was just the wrong business model to begin with. So today I make a lot more than that. I average about $10,000 a month right now. And I purposefully hold back, and I'm not even trying to grow my business because I'm building out the fundamentals and making sure that my life and lifestyle is smooth, calm, and easy. I prioritize creative flow and freedom over just maximizing money, and I'm very specific with the type of business that I want to be building. So now I'm being very intentional with how I'm building my dream lifestyle, my dream income, and everything that I need to do that. And then that brings me back to what this video is about, which is slowing down a little bit and building with a little bit more intention instead of just grinding away and being lazy. So what did I change to go from an overworked freelancer to a creator business with digital leverage? Well, I started creating digital leverage. I stopped trading time for money and stopped doing a whole bunch of done-for-you service work that honestly is going to get replaced by AI anyway. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact framework that all of the big creators use, like Dan Koe, Tim Ferriss, Matt Gray, you name it. Basically, any online digital entrepreneur that you look up to that have million-dollar businesses with 0 employees. And they all work less than most people time spent commuting or in meetings. So we want to be the good type of lazy and not the busy type of lazy. And it's all going to boil down to 3 hours of intentional deep focus a day. And that's exactly how we're going to create a one-person digital empire. And if you haven't started a personal brand yet, or you want to learn a little bit more about what I do, you can join my free school community. It's going to be the link in the description. There's lots of free courses and resources in there that breaks down everything step by step on how you can launch a personal brand and replace your income to finally get online and leverage a digital audience. So look, I wasn't always living this lifestyle. I thought being busy was cool. I thought the harder I worked, the more money or the more opportunities I would get. And you can't even blame yourself if you fall victim to this same mentality. When I was 20 years old, I was working at a grocery store, earning like 12 USD an hour, paying rent at my mom's house just to share my side of the rent. Then I'd spend weekends serving tables because that was a little bit more money. And then all of that money just went back into my photography equipment and just investing in my business. And then when I wasn't at my part-time jobs, I was trying to fill it with client work or just free creative shoots because I was learning the craft and trying to get good at what I was trying to sell and what I was trying to build. All I wanted to do was work for myself and not be told what to do. But once I became full-time with my photography business, I realized I had 10 bosses instead of 1. Ever since I was a kid, I had this burning belief that you could design your life in a way that's more fulfilling than a 9-to-5 or punching in and out. And there's different ways of adding value and getting paid in the world. I also didn't want to build a huge business empire. That wasn't also the plan to become a manager managing managers who manage employees. There had to have been a different way than just waking up every day, going to school or work, then finishing work, then spending an hour making dinner, maybe an hour working out, maybe an hour with your family or friends, and then going to bed, and then repeating. And there's nothing wrong with a bit of consistency depending on who you are and what phase you are in your life. I'm not like an anti 9-to-5er, but I do have a problem with people that convince themselves that that is the life they want when really it's not. They've just been conditioned and they don't see another way out, or they don't see any other options, because there are other options. You just have to get a little creative, because even then, when you build a freelance business or your own business, you can build a prison for yourself. So yes, you're working for yourself, or you just end up working for clients or your own employees. So it becomes busy work. You still have to show up on Monday at 9 a.m. and it's not really the lifestyle that you really want to be living. Do you want to optimize for freedom or family life or just income or just to have a big impact on humanity? Like whatever it is, just be clear and then That's your North Star. And once you're clear on that, you can start to work less because you can get a little bit more creative with what you want to be doing. I personally was stuck in that freelance trap. I was earning $10,000, $15,000 a month in revenue, but I was only taking home like a couple grand a month because all of it went back to contractors and really busy service work. I wasn't building anything bigger than myself. And really it wasn't all that fun. Eventually that creative spark died. And now I just shoot for myself and shoot for my own Instagram account because I can, and it's fun and it's what I enjoy. And when I was at the peak of that, that's when I decided to change everything. And before we get into that, I'm going to share the sponsor of today's video, Motion Array. Motion Array is an online platform with AI tools and millions of video creation assets like templates, music, LUTs, AI voiceovers, AI video creation, photos, effects, you name it. If you need to make something creative, you have tools like Motion Array to get it done. They're known for the highest quality assets and templates in the industry, and I would never consider any other option. Motion Array gets it done right. I always know I can trust them to get the highest quality creative output as I can. And that way I'm not held back in any way. I have all of the right tools right at my fingertips with one simple subscription model. They're constantly adding in new features. Like this month, they just added in a library extension inside of Premiere Pro. So this way you can have access to everything inside your editing program, and you don't even need to like exit out or go into a separate browser to start downloading templates, assets, or anything else you may need. It's now all native in your editing software. Then you can drag and drop stuff into your timeline and become a pro editor in no time. It's pretty easy. They do everything for you. And now with AI, all you need is a vision and the tools to execute it, and Motion Array makes that very easy. So if you edit your own content or your editor needs some more creative assets, check out Motion Array. The link is going to be in the description. You can support this channel, save yourself some money, and really level up your content, because really that's where everything is going to start. Make sure you have your content dialed, get creative. Check it out, link in the description. Here's the harsh reality that most creators don't want to hear. They're building in the wrong direction. This work harder, grindset mentality is holding everybody back. You have no time to get your head out of the water, get your head out of the ground, and look around and see where you're actually going. Because every day you're consumed in 12 hours, 13, 14, 15 hours of busy client work, and you really are just working for your next invoice or paycheck. And to be honest, that's the easiest trap that will keep you stuck. Eventually you'll look back years later and wonder why you aren't growing. You're really going to be hitting diminishing returns after like 6-7 hours of work. Your brain literally only has a few hours a day to dive in and really focus. After that, you're just pushing papers or doing admin work. And if it's not creative admin work or work that generates digital leverage, then you're just pushing papers, and you can do that all day, every day. And when you get so deep into it, it's even going to affect your actual brain and health, chronic pain, stress, exhaustion, and that feeling you can never catch up. So you just have to double down and work harder. It's an easy trap to fall into. And even very successful freelancers fall into this trap because they never really pivot or never really understand where they're going. Big agency owners, freelancers, creative people, creative employees, they all do the same thing. Limited by geography, clients' budgets, and your own physical capability or your team's physical capability, you're gonna hit a ceiling eventually. I was the go-to photographer in Toronto, making 6 figures a year, and I could only take on 3 to 5 clients max. And even if I raised my rates, they wouldn't have the budgets. So then I would just maybe, a couple clients would say yes, and I could earn a little bit more money. And then a couple clients would say no, and then I'm basically at the same amount. You just hit the ceiling eventually because you can't possibly raise your rates any more than your clients' budgets. Then, of course, the other option is to hire an agency and have many contractors that you have to pay them in your expensive country. And eventually you're just going to be managing people, managing clients. So that's also not really what I wanted to build either. I'd rather focus on my creative work and be chilled out. Okay, so compare that to now, and now I serve people globally. I'm creating digital assets, free or paid, that serve me for many, many years to come. I'm having a way bigger impact on everyone because realistically, foundational knowledge and value is going to transform you at the foundational, at the ground level. So people are going to completely change everything about what they do, rather than just giving someone a simple photo shoot on a bad business model is just going to not lead them anywhere, to be honest. And like, that's what I felt so guilty about as a photographer. You know, people would pay me thousands of dollars for a photo shoot, but I'm like, I don't appreciate your business model. I don't think it's what you need. And I didn't have a service to complement them or give them anything else. So it's almost feeding back into this echo chamber of businesses that people don't like or don't want. Some people do, but I don't think enough people have really considered what business they do want to build. We confuse motion with progress. If you just work enough and kick up a bunch of dust and make enough things and post enough content, then maybe something's going to happen. Maybe something's going to fall into your lap. You're basically going out and or mining or digging and just seeing what you can get. You know, you dig over here, you dig over there, you're just making a huge mess, and eventually you're going to find diamonds or something, right? And that's really the mindset that a lot of the workaholics are in, and including the old version of myself. I just figured I want to be successful. I'm going to kick up as much dirt. I'm going to work as much as possible, 14 hours a day, 15 hours a day. I'm going to sacrifice everything I can, like fitness or friends or relationships or even short-term money, whatever it is. I'm going to invest more money back into my business only to maybe get lucky. Maybe some things work because you're doing so much action, but that's not actual progress. 80% of your results will come from 20% of your inputs, but most people never identify what that 20% actually is and how they can double down on that 20% again and again and again. And the only way to acknowledge and find that 20% is by giving yourself a break and looking around at what you want your business to be and what tasks are actually moving the needle. Is it busy work? Can you systemize the busy work? Can you eliminate it? Or are you going to just continue digging into the next deadline because you're already behind because you have too many clients and you're just always playing catch up? So without systems, you're just going to rely on discipline alone. And one bad day without systems is just going to derail your whole business and you're playing catch up for the rest of the week. You have no systems to fall back on. You have no certainty in the operations that you do. And I learned this the hard way when I had my photography business, but I was also transitioning and focusing on my own content creation and creator business. And I found it really difficult to balance the client work and my own personal projects and personal brand, that I basically just neglected my own photography business. And I wouldn't suggest this to anyone. I think there's a way better way to systemize it and actually transition gracefully, but I didn't know better at the time. But luckily, after doing this for a few years and growing my creator business, here's what I discovered that actually changed everything. And we're going to break it down into a few different main topics. You want to start with your lifestyle design first. And we're going to use the anti-goals method. Forget everything you've been told about success. Instead of saying, how can I make more money? How can I get more clients or optimize more profit? Ask yourself, what life do you want to live? What is a typical day in the life for you? And what materialistic things do you need in that day in the life? Being materialistic and wanting money is not a bad thing, but just how much do you want? So the anti-goal method that I use that transformed my business was listing out everything that you do not want to sacrifice, a non-negotiable in your life. So to me, that is health and working out and jujitsu, but I want to train about an hour and a half every single day. That's a non-negotiable. I want to have time for family and friends, either on weekends or in the afternoons as well. I never want to be working past 6 p.m. I also want to be able to work from anywhere in the world. I used to tell myself that I didn't need to do that, but it's nice. Once you make money online, you really do have a lot more freedom and options. It helps me sleep well at night, knowing that I'm not bound to a certain location to earn money. I also did not want any employees or office. I do not want to be held accountable to any meetings if I'm in them or hosting them. So that's everything I'm not willing to sacrifice, is lifestyle, training, health, relationships, time. I like to party on the weekends. I like to travel. That's something I'm not willing to give up in my new business, whatever that might look like. So now that we have these constraints in our business, we need to face them with creativity and build in a unique way. So you have to find ways to work smarter and not harder. I was just in Asia for 3 months this year. And then last year I was in Asia again for a month and then Brazil for a month. And I was with my friends and we were having a good time, especially the shorter trips when we only have like 2 weeks in a city. You really have to be conscious of what you're actually doing each day to move the needle. If you only have 2 or 3 hours a day, what are you doing for those 2 or 3 hours to actually maximize your results, income, and move the needle? And that's where you are forcing constraints in your business so you can be creative with how you're actually going to output the results and give the value to society that you want to be given. And now with lifestyle design, that's why I work about 4 hours a day maximum being locationally independent, because I know I'm not working past 6 p.m. I'm focusing on my health. I'm focusing on my relationships, which is family and friends, and partying a little bit because I feel like it. I'm like in my early 20s. I don't mind going out on weekends and having some fun. And it's not because I'm lazy. I was actually more lazy before because I was just working and hustling so hard, and I was ignoring the tasks that actually moved the needle. I'm now working very intentionally and being very disciplined with the tasks I'm doing, because now the business is designed by my lifestyle first. Okay, so let's get into the next pillar, and this is what nobody tells you. 1 hour of deep work is going to be 5 hours of busy procrastination or busy work. Busy, lazy work is the enemy. You want 1 hour of deep, focus, intentional work that is very disciplined, specifically task disciplined and focus disciplined. So we have to identify what is that 20% of your business that is going to really drive you results. For most businesses, I would argue if you have a demand problem, you need to be focusing on client acquisition, which is typically right now writing and marketing. So you should have a designated deep work block of just writing, which is content creation. This can be writing short form videos, long form videos, newsletters, stories, writing messages and connecting with people, installing new systems, automations, AI writing, whatever it is. That is going to be that first deep work block that you need to be doing that is just focused solely on telling people about what you do. And that will solve your demand issue. Because once you have more clients than you know what to do with, now you have some options, and now we can talk about scalable offers and the rest of what I talk about on this channel. So first thing in the morning, ideally before 11 a.m., you sit down and you go off, dial in your deep work session for 2 to 4 hours, and then your work is done for the day. You can then completely disconnect after that and do your lazy, busy admin that you want to be doing. And if you have restraints in your business, you know you have to log off at 6 p.m. anyways. But you already ate the frog in the morning and you already got what you needed to do out of the way. And you can make this as cyclical as you want. A lot of people are talking about different seasons in your business as well. Going all in for 2, 3, 4 weeks and really dialing in and building a lot of leverage in your business, and then taking a restful break so you can stop and look around and you're not falling victim to this lazy way of working for work's sake. So the last thing we need now to earn more and work less is building digital leverage. And if you do want to build a one-person empire or have a small team with 90% profit and earn as much as you want, you are going to have to be online. There's no way to not have people to manage in the physical world. You're going to have to do it digitally. So we're going to create digital leverage and systems. And this is where the real magic happens. And it's actually something that I'm going to start calling permissionless digital leverage, because it really is permissionless. Anyone can do it. And it might not be like that forever. I have a fear one day that what if it costs you $10, $20 to post every single time on social media? What if the Instagram verification badge was $500 a month and it drastically reduced your reach, where it would almost be a pay to play? So now your expenses to just start or dabble in your creator business is now $500 a month or $1,000 a month. Meta can do that in one day. They can just update their terms and policies or update the algorithm, and now it's too late. But as of right now, recording this video in 2025, it is still permissionless. It doesn't cost me or you anything to post. If my video performs better than your video because I spent more time learning, writing content, learning what makes sense, what makes people tick, what makes people watch to the second sentence and then the third sentence and then the fourth sentence, and then gets them on my email list and then gets them on watching my YouTube videos. It was just practice over years and a lot of education. But that gap is permissionless. You can do that too. There's nothing stopping you. There's no paywall. There's not some secret connections. It's not like I'm buddies with Mark Zuckerberg and he's given me the inside scoop. I know as much as you do. So that is permissionless leverage. And hopefully it stays that way. The other types of leverage are not as permissionless. We have labor leverage, which is me hiring people. So if I wanted to build more houses, I couldn't possibly build 19 houses by myself. So I'd have to find other people and hire them to help me build houses, and they're going to charge me a bunch of money, and I'm going to make a bunch of money from building those houses. And at the end of the day, I'll have, take a small cut from the profit and the materials and the wood and everything else that is required to build a house. That is not permissionless because you need money to pay for the labor. Not anyone can just decide to start building 20 houses. It's going to take quite a bit of planning, connections, social skills, and capital. The next method of leverage is capital, which is essentially investing your money and having your investments compound. So you can have a stock market portfolio and the S&P 500 raises like 6 to 8% annually each year. You put $100,000, you're going to get 8,000 back. Inflation's like 2 to 3%, or it's supposed to be. So your net profit is like 4%, $4,000 on $100,000 every single year. And it's compounding every single year. So after 10, 20, 30 years, you might have $500,000, and that's capital leverage. So if people are smart with their money, the rich typically do stay rich because they're managing their money and they're letting their money work for them. That is also not permissionless because you need money to play the game. So if you're starting from zero or you're working at a grocery store for $12 an hour, it's not something you can just start with a small loan of $1 million. Like that's just not the reality for some people, and therefore it's not permissionless. And then the last type of leverage is the digital leverage, which is permissionless, which is building an audience, having social media platforms free for now, and being able to be recognized for whatever you do. And it gets more and more competitive each and every day, but it's still permissionless because it's all skill-based. And the beautiful part about all of these systems, all of these three types of leverage, is it compounds. The more you have, the more you do, the more inputs you have, the more outputs you get. The lever just becomes longer and longer and longer. So for most of us, we want a content engine, which is short form content, long form content, podcast, emails, newsletters, and that's going to grow your audience and continue to educate and nurture people and educate people for free. That's going to be your first main leverage. That's going to turn into audience growth. So you're building more and more of an audience with the same amount of content work. This is where most people quit because you have very little leverage when you're only producing content or a full YouTube video for 100 people or 200 people. And then eventually it's 1,000 people, and then eventually it's 10,000, and then it's 100,000 people with the same amount of work. Now on the back end of things, when you get creative and you can digitalize your business, you can start earning more money through digital products, sponsorships, and now you can continue to scale that revenue. And that's the other lever you're pulling or you're getting back. So you're having the same short form content, long form content, same digital product, but now you're playing this leverage game, this permissionless leverage game, because you can do whatever you want and you're going to earn more and more money, which is going to be more and more revenue for the same amount of work. And that's how people are making millions of dollars at 95% profit just as one person. Now, the last framework to keep in mind when you're trying to transition everything, and if you're going to just dive in, we have to make sure we're eliminating tasks and automating tasks and then delegating tasks. I learned this from Timothy Ferriss in the 4-Hour Workweek. And to get tactical with the actual tasks you do, so you can have a framework so you can go into your business and start cutting everything down, is we need to define what's actually should be getting done. So first, we need to decide if we can eliminate the task altogether. Is it actually moving the needle? Is it important? Is there anything in your business that could be a distraction and you could just eliminate it altogether? If you can't eliminate it, then you can go down to automation. So now can we automate this task with AI or some software tool to then make it easier for ourselves, and we don't have to worry about that anymore? So it could be copywriting, editing, moving people from your ManyChat, Instagram DM to your email list, whatever that may be. That's going to be under automation because it can't be eliminated. It's important. So then we automate it. Now, if we can't automate it and we can't eliminate it, then we go down to delegation. A little trick here is you can set your hourly rate of what you would pay yourself or what you would work for somebody. And then anything that, is below that number, let's say I'm getting paid $500 an hour. Anything below that, I'm just going to delegate. I'm going to pay someone $50 an hour, $200 an hour, whatever it is, because it's just not worth my time anymore. And there's still things that we need humans to help. AI can't do everything, although AI can do a lot now. That's really the game we're going to be playing, is if we do need human help, if they are cheaper than us, then we can just delegate it. If they are more expensive than us, then we can consider learning the skill ourselves or getting AI to do it or finding other ways to do it. And now we have a lot more focus, so we can really dial in on what's working and focusing on that 20% that's leading to the 80% outcome. So control of your time really does equal true freedom. You don't need to work 80 hours a week to build something meaningful. You just need to focus on the right things and have all of these delegation tools, leverage tools, self-awareness, and self-audits top of mind. You should be reminding yourself every single day about what you're doing. And if you're working on intentional tasks, that's leading to the exact goal you want in your exact life. If you found any value in this video, please consider hitting the subscribe subscribe button and liking the video. The algorithm would really like that. If you want more details about how to launch your own personal brand and start your own creator style business, join the free school community. Link is going to be in the description. If you found any value out of this video, you can click the next one down in the description or it'll pop up somewhere. It is my 4 essential daily habits that allows me to continue to grow my creator business even when I get busy traveling or building other courses, resources, whatever it is. It essentially eliminates all of the distractions out of your life. If you can do these 4 simple habits, you will have a successful creator business and you will easily be able to continue growing your audience, so you never have to wonder what you're supposed to be doing. And if you found any value in this video, please consider subscribing or hitting the like button. The algorithm would very much appreciate that. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.